Good afternoon, students. Today we start our next lecture about the irrigation and fertigation system we are using in our protected cultivation, or I can say in producing our vegetables. So, in previous lecture we have learned about what is protected cultivation, what are the objectives, what are the importance of that. Today we study about the irrigation system and the fertigation system we are using in our protected cultivation. So the learning objective of this lecture is you know about what is irrigation, what is fertigation, how they will work, and you get to know about the use of different micro irrigation systems, and you also know about the importance and the irrigation and fertigation in protected cultivation. So, irrigation, I can say it is the artificial supply of the water to the crop for their better growth and development. When there is, I can say, all the states are not dependent on rainfall. So, there we have to follow the irrigation system. And the term is the fertigation, in which we are collaborating the irrigation and fertilizer. And most probably, we are using the liquid fertilizers instead of solid fertilizer, because liquid fertilizer are easy to dissolve and they have zero impurity, or I can say they have negligible impurity in them. So that's why we are preferring liquid fertilizer as compared to the solid fertilizer. Even we are using some kind of soil amendments also, like gypsum, lime, and other water soluble amendments we are also using for through an irrigation system. So this is the definition of irrigation and fertigation. Now we talk about the advantages of irrigation and disadvantages of irrigation. So on one side, you are seeing the advantages of irrigation. So what first advantage is that it increase the food production. See, through irrigation, you can provide the appropriate amount of water to the crop plant. So there is a increase in food production as compared to, I can say, rainfall. Okay, so this is the first advantage. Second advantage is we are modifying the soil environment. Means through irrigation, the soil environment is also becoming good in nature. How? Because there is optimum soil moisture, and due to moisture, there is a balancing of soil temperature, and there is a proper evaporation rate. So these are the modification of soil environment. Next is the increase in the value of land. As you all know that all the chemicals, all the, I can say, element present in the soil and taken by the plants in the through water. So if there is a proper irrigation and proper supply of water, the crop plants can easily take up the nutrients through water and they grow well in the soil. So due to which the value of land is also increasing. Next is improve the groundwater storage. As on one side there is a, I can say, barren land or wasteland, and on the another side there is, I can say, there is a tank, okay, which is full of water, and we are supplying that water in our main field. So the groundwater level in both of the field differ, because the field which we are irrigating properly get very good groundwater. Okay, the storage of groundwater is quite, I can say, good as compared to the barren land or wasteland where there is a shortage of water, or I can say water scarcity. So next is the domestic and industrial water supply. So we can, through irrigation, we can, I can say, we can drink that water also. We can supply it to the industries also. We are using it for domestic purpose also. So these are the, I can say, the pure advantages of irrigation. Then after that, the disadvantage of irrigation is water logging. Water logging means the standard or static वाटर जो है वो वहाँ पे सॉइल के ऊपर खड़ा रहता है. ठीक है, there is no any space to water to be drained out, so that process is known as water logging, where the water is standing. That is a water logging process. And due to which there is a problem of salinity and alkalinity, means there is a collection of different kinds of soil which are not exchangeable in the soil. So that's why the soil concentration or total soluble salts get increased and due to which the salinity and alkalinity of the land also increases as there is an increase in the pH. Now, next is the poor aeration of the soil. Means if there is a standing water, so the aeration is not, I can say the soil aeration is not possible there because there is a standing water and air has no chance to mix up in the soil and the proper aeration to be take place. So this is the a kind of disadvantage of irrigation. Next is pollution of underground water. As you all know that we are using some way we are using irrigation water, and suddenly I can say the impure water can came out and also which is polluted in nature. So when it mix up with the underground water, so it cause many problems to the crop plants, to the, I can say, to the whole of the main field, which further results in the reduction of the yield of the crops. So these are the kinds of disadvantage of irrigation. So next is we have to study about the objective of fertigation. The main objective is we getting maximum profit by applying the fertilizer with irrigation, because it requires very less amount as compared to the solid, I can say solid fertilizer. Like for example, if we are supplying urea, so we are using near about 50 kg to 100 kg according to our land area. But if we are using liquid fertilizer, that is becoming the, I can say the 20% we need that fertilizer for irrigating our field and through fertigation. And it also minimizes the adverse environmental effects because the leaching process cannot take place. How I can animate this? So, like I'm giving you the example. Suppose I have an area like this. Okay. So on one area, I am just giving the irrigation directly through flooding method or different surface irrigation methods. And on one side, there is a fertigation system I am using in which there is a land. Okay. So fertigation we are doing is by different methods, sprinkler method, or I can say drip irrigation method. So these are the pipelines we are placed on our poly house or in a protected structure. Okay, so what we have to do, there is a mixture tank in which we are placing our fertilizer with water. So drop wise it can go to the particular crop, drop wise, and which result in रिडक्शन इन लेचिंग, बिकॉज जब वो ड्रॉप वाइज उसके अंदर जाएगी सो देयर इज ए रिडक्शन। और जहाँ पे हमने फुली एक तरह से पानी छोड़ दिया हुआ है एंड वी आर स्प्रेइंग आवर केमिकल्स और फर्टिलाइजर्स, सो दे डायरेक्टली गो डाउनवर्ड इनटू द सॉइल। बट इन केस ऑफ फर्टिगेशन सिस्टम, और आई कैन से फर्टिगेशन मैनेजमेंट, there is no any chance of leaching. The chances of leaching get reduced because the fertilizer with irrigation is going drop wise. It is not going in a high amount. Okay. But in case of open field, there is a problem of leaching and volatilization if we are spraying our chemical fertilizers there. Hope this is clear to all of you. So I hope these objectives are clear to all of you. So next are the advantages of fertigation and disadvantage of fertigation. So the advantages of fertigation is uniformly supply of fertilizer. Okay, we are supplying our fertilizer in a uniform form. We are not putting in a, I can say, we are not broadcasting it. We are not using any kind of manual technique. We are just pour it into our mixture tank in which we are mixing our liquid fertilizer, which are water soluble, and they are going dropwise into the crop plant. Okay, through dropwise or by taking different types of nozzles. Second advantage is the flexibility in the timing of application. See, like through fertigation, the timing should be, I can say, maximum also, minimum also, depending upon which kind of nozzle we are placed for our micro irrigation system. Because if there is a smaller nozzle, so the time consumed by the fertigation is more. Okay, if there is a I can say the nozzle is bigger, so the timing of the fertilizer application is less. So this is the advantage of fertigation. Next point is less fertilizer are used. As I earlier told you that if we need 50 kg of urea for our crop field in a solid form, and if we are taking urea in liquid form, or I can say any liquid fertilizer we are taking, so that is the requirement is less. Okay, which further reduces the cost of, I can say, the cost of input, the cost of the expenditure. So that also be reduced by fertigation. So next is the disadvantages of fertigation. So first disadvantage is that there is a contamination process also takes place during fertigation system, because if we are not using a proper, or I can say the branded product for fertilizer, so there is a contamination. If we are using a product with full of impurities, so there is a chances of contamination to be occurs, and which further need which further, I can say, equipment को खराब कर देगी. Equipment malfunctioning starts. So that's why we need that fertilizer which is pure in nature. And sometimes our water channels or our water pipes or water devices also run into backflow. If these block, if the nozzles are blocked, that water are backflowing. Okay. Next is the careful handling of liquid fertilizer as required, because we have to pour it very properly in a proper manner. There should be no impurity in that liquid fertilizer. We can't remain them open in our lab or in our storage area. We have to cover them properly, so that there should be no contamination, no impurity to be occur in that container on that, or that in that liquid fertilizers. Okay. So next is the need of efficient irrigation system. So efficient means that system which is appropriate or suitable for irrigation purpose. So the efficient irrigation system is equal to micro irrigation system, combining it with the fertigation system for any type of greenhouse cultivation. If you are growing your crop in greenhouse cultivation, so you have to prefer micro irrigation system for it, because that is very much suitable. Because in polyhouses we can't do flooding system, because somehow they can damage our polyhouses, and as well as the drainage problem also, waterlogging problem also takes place, and that's why there is a problem of drainage. Okay, so how you drain that water which is standing in your polyhouse, inside your polyhouse? So for that, that's why we are using micro irrigation system with relevance to fertigation. Okay. So next point is you have to use the good quality of water there. You can't use any kind of, I can say, the running water, or I can say the impure, the water which is totally impure or polluted water. So you have to use a good quality of water for establishing your micro irrigation system. There should be no poor quality of water, because if you are using that water, you for on further you need repair of all your water equipments, because there is a, I can say, there is a clogging process take place. Okay, there is a blockage, and that's why the backflow take place and water is not reached to your crop plants, and further it reduces the crop yield. So you have to use a good quality of water irrigation system. So Water requirement is based on different type of factors like with how much water should be required for a crop plant. So it depends upon what is the plant spacing. Okay. So, like in drip irrigation, if the plants are placed from plant to plant distance is a space, or I can say the spacing is 20 to 30 centimeter, we can easily prefer um, drip irrigation system. Like for strawberry, we prefer drip irrigation system because we are placing the crop plant in on different distance. Like, and the canopy area is also, I can say, that is not heavier or denser. The canopy area is also, I can say, uh, small. Next is the soil, kind of soil types. So, like sandy loam should be preferable for drip irrigation system. If you are if there is a sandy soil, so that water needed by the soil is much more as the water needed by the crop. Okay. Next, if the soil type is, I can say, the sandy soil, the evaporation rate is also higher in that soil. So in sandy loam soil, you can easily establish this drip irrigation system. Okay. Next is this based on season. Which type of season is there? I can say winter season, summer season. So on that season, the water requirement is based. Next is the kind of plant stage. So at what stage the plant can need the water? Like we have a critical irrigation stage. Okay, so in which, like in wheat, there is a crown root stage in which the water requirement is more. Similarly, for plant stage, in crown root stage is in vegetative. In case of wheat, okay, so there the stages are different for different crops. The water requirement is different for different plant stages of the crops, like vegetative or reproductive. Next is the age of plant. Like when we are harvesting our plant, there is no need of water at that time because at that time we are harvesting our crop. So there is no need to there is no need of water. Okay, so these are some factors which are which are tell us about the water requirement. How much water requirement? I will show you a table. So in this table, you are seeing that on one side there is three flowers, that is rose, gerbera, and carnation. And on other side in description box, you are saying seeing that number of plants per square meter, then the spacing, then the water pH, then EC, life cycle, and water requirement per day. So the number of plants per square meter in rose is 6, gerbera and 6, and 20 of carnation. And you are seeing the spacing. So the rose is more, I can say, the canopy of rose and gerbera is more as compared to carnation, so the spacing they need also be more as compared to carnation. So the spacing of rose and gerbera is quite same, but instead of carnation there is 15 into 15 centimeter the spacing. Okay, that is plant to plant and row to row. Then the water pH, we need the neutral. The water pH should be neutral. We don't need acidic or neutral. You know, the water pH is always neutral. Okay. Next is the electrical conductivity, which tell us about the total soluble salts present in our soil. So for rose, it is 0.7 and less than zero point 0.7 for all the three crops, that is rose, gerbera, and carnation. And the life cycle for this is 50 to 60 months for rose and 30 to 365 months for gerbera, and carnation it is 24 months. So these are the life cycle, and the water requirement for them is, I can say, same for all the flowers, that is 3 to 4 liter square meter per day. Means for irrigating 1 square meter per day, we need 3 to 4 liter of water. Okay. So micro irrigation system and their application. So the selection of irrigation system with the fertigation arrangement is a very important part of protected cultivation, and we are preferably use drip irrigation system because it is not much more expensive than the other, and it is easily to be established, this drip irrigation, as compared to sprinkler irrigation. and following factors are there, like where we have to follow this drip irrigation system. It's depend upon the crop spacing, which means how much spacing should be there. Then we prefer drip irrigation system. Then what is the crop water requirement, then what is the soil type, what is the growing media, what are you using for your protected cultivation crops. Okay, like which, like sphagnum moss you are using peat moss, you are no using cocoa peat. So that depends. Or you are using soil, you are using aeroponics, hydroponics. So that thing differs. Okay, then the bed size, there the bed size are of two types. One is raised bed, another is, I can say, unraised bed. Okay, so that depends which kind of bed you are using. So on that bed we prefer drip irrigation. Mostly we are raising our seedlings or crop plants on a raised bed so that the water should be easily and equally supplied to the crop plants. So we are using the raised bed. And the bed size or bed size also differ, like what is the length of your bed size, what is the width of that bed size, what is the height. So that also, that things also differ. Then the water quality, as you know that we need a good quality of water, so that the pH should be 6.5 to 7. Then electrical availability, you know that nowadays all the micro irrigations are coming in a, I can say in a automation, proper with automated, I can say automated products we are using for drip irrigation system. So there should be proper availability of electrical. So whenever you see there is in polyhouse, if there is a polyhouse in your area, there is a provision of generator also, because your all the system is working on computer. ओके, सो उसको नहीं फर्क पड़ता कि इलेक्ट्रिकल चल रही है कि नहीं, अगर वो वहाँ पे रुक गई तो आपको वो सारी प्रोसेस दोबारा सेटिंग करके दोबारा से उसको आपको अवेल करवाना पड़ेगा. सो फॉर दैट वी हैव टू नीड अ प्रॉपर इलेक्ट्रिकल फैसिलिटी. Next is the fertigation requirement of the crop. So drip irrigation plus fertigation, we are preferring for those crop which needs fertilizer more. Okay, ये हो कि जिससे हमारा जो है काम चल जाए. फर्टिलाइजर हमें इतनी रिक्वायरमेंट ना हो, इजीली जितनी भी रिक्वायरमेंट है, किस क्रॉप को कितनी रिक्वायरमेंट है उसके बेस पे वी आर यूजिंग आवर फर्टिगेशन रिक्वायरमेंट्स. नेक्स्ट इज द डिस्चार्ज रेट ऑफ एमीटर. So in discharge rate of emitter, what we are doing means how much the emitter is giving the water to the crop plants. That is also depend upon the time. Okay, so next is the distance of emitters on drip line. Suppose this is a drip line. Okay, so where you have placed your emitters, that also depend upon that. Means if you place them closely, so whole of the area get well irrigated. Okay, and if you use it far, so it can, I can say it is used for the crops which have a larger canopy. Okay, so these are some points come under drip irrigation. To establish a drip irrigation in your polyhouse, you have to be learned about these factors. Okay, again I'm repeating, that is crop science, crop spacing, then crop water requirement, soil type, the growing media, where you have to grow. Okay, then the bed size, then water quality, electrical availability, fertigation requirement of crop, and discharge rate of a meter, and distance of a meter on drip line. So these all are the points come under the factors on which drip irrigation depends. Okay. So now I will to tell you about drip irrigation system. Is it is also known as trickle irrigation. Okay, in which we are using the plastic tubes of a small diameter, and we are placing in subsurface area on also on surface area, and we are mostly use them in a greenhouse. Okay, and the water is delivered to the plants at frequent intervals, okay, through these small pores and emitters. And the irrigation system, drip irrigation system are commonly is the combination, okay, which we are using for protected agriculture. And somewhere we also use the mulches also, is straw mulch, stubble mulch, plastic mulch, vertical mulch we also using. And so for that we are preferred drip irrigation system. And in general I can say the efficiency of drip irrigation is quite good than the flood irrigation. Okay, approximately from drip irrigation we have saving 70 to 80% of the water. So this is all about the drip irrigation system. And this is the table which shows the water saving, yield and profit under drip and drip fertigation system. One side you are using only drip irrigation system, and other side you are using drip and fertigation system, and third is you are using just conventional method. Okay, where you are just flood, we are doing just flooding irrigation. Okay, so here you see that we have taken three crops. Okay, banana, sugarcane and tomato. And the water saving is, in banana there is 35%, in sugarcane 29%, and in tomato that is 32%. And you see the yield here. In conventional you are getting yield 26%, and if you are using only drip irrigation the yield is 30%. 30 ton per hectare. And the drip plus fertigation, the yield is about 37. Similarly, if we go to the profit side, the profit we are getting from conventional method, that is 81,000, and through drip irrigation we getting 98,000, and from drip plus fertigation we are getting 1,20,000. So you are seeing that drip plus fertigation irrigation system giving more profit as compared to the other methods, either it is drip or either it is conventional. Okay. So similarly, it is followed in sugarcane and tomato. Okay. We are seeing that we are getting the maximum profit as compared to drip and conventional. Okay. Similarly, there is an effect on, I can say, on the yield also, because yield is directly proportional to the profit. If yield is less, profit is less. Okay. If yield is more, profit is more. So that thing, these things also matter by placing drip fertigation system. As it is, I can say, uh, costly also, but nowadays it is the follow up of drip irrigation is maximum in most of the poly houses. Next is the benefits of drip irrigation. First is the efficient water use. Okay, there is a efficient water use. Second is there is efficient use of fertilizers. There is a less pumping cost. Okay, there is less chemical usage. Less labor is lower. See, we need less labor, but we need skilled labor. Okay, the labor is less because the computer is doing all of the work, but the labor should be skilled. Okay, then there is significantly high yield if we are using drip irrigation plus fertigation, and the crop quality is also improved because no impurity is also going in that water through water. Okay, and there is a uniformity of application. Okay, the fertilizer application are, I can say, in a uniform manner. We are spraying or supplying the fertilizer in a uniform manner. Okay. So this is the drip irrigation system. Here you see that there is a pressure valve, there is a sand filter, venturi is there, then there is a screen filter. We are, so that no impurity should go. If we getting any impurity from sand filter, so there is a screen filter also, so that there should be no any, I can say, impurity gone through the pipelines. There is a main pump or well, or you can say you are using tube wells. So there is a valves also, main valve. Okay. Then these, there is one main line and one is some main lines. and there is emitters, or I can say drippers are placed so that the water is coming out. And there is a all air valve also, because sometimes there is a pressure of air in the pipeline. Main line, and this is the sub main line. Okay, so we are placing the drippers here. Okay, there is the emitters. We also known as them emitters or drippers. Okay, so this is the full diagram of drip irrigation system. Next is hand watering. Sometimes if we are producing our crop on a small area, and we are preferably there is a small poly house. So what we have to do, we are doing hand watering. Okay, what we are doing hand watering. So present in nowadays, this is I can say uneconomical, or we are not preferring it for large scale, but we are preferring it for small scale. If we want to do irrigation for small scale, we are doing this hand watering. Okay, so mostly the hand watering require time, and which is very quite of boring. Okay, so we are usually using nowadays the other micro irrigation systems instead of hand watering. And automatic watering also takes place, in which there is a long pipeline which have sprayers and I can say the meters, and we are just single man doing that, uh, taking that pipe and irrigating the whole field or whole polyhouse. Okay, I will show you the videos. Mostly we are prefer hand watering for pots and benches. Okay, like this. See, this is the man, and there is some other overhead, I can say, irrigation system, but he is also doing the irrigation through hands. Okay. Next is the perimeter watering. Perimeter watering is that you hear about the circumference, means the around the area. So what is in this perimeter watering? We are place the our water pipelines around the area of our polyhouse. Okay, or where we have bench or beds we are using, we are preferring perimeter watering system. Okay, we are using plastic pipe and different kinds of nozzles for that. Okay, mostly we are using PVC pipe, that means polyvinyl chloride pipes, and major we are using because they are stationary. Okay, and they are not I can say they can be rolled easily, and they can't be broken easily. So that's why that is the stuff is very, I can say the material we are using for watering purpose is quite good. And the nozzle are placed on different angles for spraying purpose, that is 180-degree, 90-degree, and 45-degree. So this is the perimeter watering. Okay, you are seeing that they are placing the water pipelines like serial wise. Okay, so it will I can say in a spray form they are irrigating that particular ground around the circumference. Then overhead sprinkler, you have seen that in many polyhouses there is overhead sprinkler. Like in cherry tomatoes, we are using overhead sprinklers. Okay, they are also placed. I can say the pipes we are using that are PVC pipes. Okay, so we are using it above the height of 0.6 meter. Okay, for the bedding plants, and for fresh flowers, because they have a good height, so we are placing these pipes around 1.8 meters. So the nozzles are very depend upon the which kind of flower it is, with a more, I can say, with a denser canopy or a larger canopy, and we are placing it in a circular motion. You see that different kinds of sprinklers are used by uh, irrigating the long lawns, even the, I can say, the cricket ground also. So there are different kind of sprinklers. So that depend upon what kind of crop we are grown there, what kind, if we are using flowers, we have to place our sprinklers around the height of 1.8 meters. Okay, and for bedding purposes we have to make place them on a height of 0.6 meter. Okay, like this. Suppose this is in early season, the crop is short. Okay, so we are placing them quite quick, I can say closer to the crop plant. And on the other side, when there is a mid season where there is a tilling stage also, so we are the height is, you are seeing that height is becoming the low. Okay? The height is decreasing. And in late season, what we are doing, we are just, if we are doing for furrow and ridge cultivation, so we are just filled up with furrows. So this is kind of I can say the overhead sprinkler roles, you know, in the protective cultivation or in the polyhouses. Then another micro irrigation systems are misters and foggers. They are also placed in our protective cultivation, and they are anti-leak devices. They are, don't allow the flow of water to be fall down and when switched off. Once you off the switch, no single droplet will be uh, irrigate or put it on our crop. If you off the switch, no water drop can fall down on the surface. So that's why they are known as anti-leak devices. They are also depend upon where we have to use, for which crop we have to use, and most of main thing is we need a proper operation for it. The time of operation of these foggers and misters are around 30 to 60 seconds, and we have to do it for 3 to 4 times a day. Okay, so these are the kind of, some are coming in four nozzles, क्योंकि four nozzles होते हैं 360 डिग्री पे घूमते हैं. ठीक है, two nozzle भी आता है. So that depend upon the what kind of crops we are growing, what kind of water requirement of them. So these are points references you are follow to study. If you want to study about this protective cultivation, you can follow these references. So this is all about today's lecture.